Her job was to keep America moving. She managed $903 million in federal grants, helping public transportation agencies get access to funding and making sure that the money was used responsibly. But she was suddenly laid off last month as DOGE slashed through the government, despite what she calls stellar performance reviews. Emily Connor, former grants management specialist with the Federal Transit Administration, joining me now. So I understand it was not a very happy Valentine's Day. That was the day you found out that you were being laid off. Were you expecting it?
To be honest, I think yes. A lot of us were expecting it. We knew that on day one, President Trump had asked for a list of every probationary employee at our administration. And from then on, I think all of us probationary employees were on the lookout. We did receive some calls earlier in the day from our own leadership saying, hey, we think this is coming. We're not really sure how, we're not sure when, and we're not sure why, but we think you'll get an email getting terminated later today. And that did come true.
So you were entrenched in the inner workings of the Federal Transit Administration. How do you think these cuts will impact people who use public transportation every single day?
Yeah, I think these cuts are actually really going to impact people who use public transportation every day, or even if they use it occasionally, because FTA, really my job as a grants management specialist was to help these transit agencies get access to funds that they are entitled to by law by making grants with them, but also doing oversight on these grants. So making sure that they're using these funds responsibly, using these funds in ways that they've promised the public that they will, and make sure that they're following the law. FTA also works on a reimbursement basis. So every dollar that these agencies are getting via federal funding are funds that they've already spent. And so now we're talking about, in Region 10, where I worked in Oregon, Washington, Alaska, and Idaho, our grant team went from 11 people in early January to 4 people now, and there's just not enough people to actually get the work done. So we're talking about funds that these transit agencies have spent that they won't be able to get access to their federal funding, not because the funding is not there, but because there's just not enough people left to do the work. And that's going to lead them into potential financial hardship. There might be issues with safety, reliability. There might be reduction in service. And these transit agencies are going to have to figure out how to foot the bill for these funds that they're not going to be able to get access to.
And as you talk about these funds, you were responsible for making sure that these federal funds were used responsibly by transportation agencies. So how are these layoffs now going to impact oversight?
It's a great question. I think they're really going to impact oversight. We do essentially audits on our transit agencies at least every 3 years, but also on the regular, especially for our larger transit agencies. And if there's not enough people left to do the work, I can't imagine the oversight is really going to be, one, very thorough, but also we may struggle to keep up with all of the different requirements for oversight, and then actually working with these transit agencies to resolve any deficiencies and resolve any oversight issues, which can take a significant amount of human power.
Well, President Trump is expected to share his vision of putting America first, he says. What exactly does that mean to you?
I think that it means serving the general public. I think that it means being transparent about what your plans are, means being transparent with Congress and making sure to follow the law. And we know that that's not what's happening with all of these federal cuts. We know that unilateral decisions are being made between Trump and Elon and DOGE to essentially slash the federal workforce with no transition planning, no succession planning, no transparency with the public about what projects and programs are being cut, and no transparency with them about how or if there is any plan to insulate them from the ultimate ripple effects that it will cause for everyday Americans.
Well, I listened to you, Emily, and I know that you are going to find the perfect job for you with all your background, for sure. But thank you for telling your story and just giving us more insight. Appreciate you, Emily.
Thank you.